Hi guys, I've decided to create a small, although I imagine I say short and small now and it's going to end up being 20 minutes. I am long-winded and I apologize. I want to go through the syllabus with you all just because I think that sometimes hearing an explanation can be easier to digest than just reading through a whole bunch of technical policies. So you don't have to watch this video if you plan on reading the syllabus start to finish on your own. I'm not going to go through every single thing in the syllabus because I do think that there's content in here that is just kind of for legal reasons, for example, or so to speak. So I'm not going to go through everything, but I am going to go through the things that I think are going to affect you the most throughout the course of this next 8 weeks. So here we are. It's the summer of 2019. It's almost 2020. That's wild. And you are taking an English 112 class in now Blackboard Open. So if you haven't gone through the course tour video already, that's upcoming, and I think on the same page that you found this video on, or in the same portal. So you'll have something like that coming soon. This class is 3 hours of credit. You're likely to spend at least 3 hours a week working on this class, although I would imagine more than that. I would say as a whole, to be effective in this course, you're probably going to have to spend something like 6 hours a week, I would say, working in the course. And that makes sense because if it was a 16-week class, I'd say it's 3 hours a week, but it's an 8-week class, so it's going to be 6 hours. I have an introduction video which you may or may not have watched yet. So hello, my name is Miss Osborne. You have access to my email here. I will email you back if you need to contact me. Monday through Thursday take me about 24 hours. I'm usually pretty quick at responding. There are times though where there's no way that I can get to my computer to effectively answer your question, or I can't even get to my phone to answer your question. So sometimes there are other circumstances that I'm facing that I can't respond right away. If you haven't heard from me by a good solid 3 or 4 days, please email me again. It's always possible I didn't get your email. I do have an office at the main campus. However, over the summer I don't hold office hours, so if you swing by you probably won't find me. I will make an appointment with you though if you want to meet in person. This class is research and writing about your discipline, but I really take this class and spin it in my own way. I do things a little bit differently because I find that some assignments are just more interesting when they're spun differently. So we'll talk about those in a little while, and you can read through these descriptions if you want. Just the thing that I think is so important is these 6 bullets for recommendations for success, and I can give you lots of examples of people who didn't follow these recommendations and weren't successful in my class, especially in an online course, which is truly harder than a face-to-face class. So my students who are most successful log into whatever the learning management system is, in this case it's Blackboard, every single day or every other day. But if you log in at least 4 or 5 times a week, then you are likely to be working with the content more than someone who logs in once on Sunday at 6 p.m. and is like, okay, I have 4 hours to do all of my assignments. So logging in every day means that you're getting information, you're working through the course, and I think that that makes you more successful in the class. Students who are successful email me when they have issues. So if something is going on, if you're having trouble, sending me an email is really the way to resolve that. I will answer your questions. I will work with a student who says, hey, I'm struggling with this class. Would you be able to talk with me or work through this with me? If you turn in an assignment and you've struggled through it and you get a failing grade or a C- or something like that, and then you email me after the fact and say, well, I really struggled. Is there anything I can do? No, at that point you've submitted your work. It is too late. The students who are most successful in this class don't miss any activities, don't miss any quizzes, complete all of your assignments, whether the assignments are formally graded. So even the lecture videos, if you're students who are successful will watch all the lecture videos, and I know there are a lot of them, and I know I talk a lot, but I feel like it's because there's information you need. Students who are most successful in this course don't wait to begin researching for assignments. So you're going to find that because you have taken a summer class, which is accelerated, meaning it's not 16 weeks, it's only 8 weeks, you have to hit the ground running from day one. So if you are logging in and watching this video on June 6th and you haven't done any assignments yet, you've already missed 20 points. And so this class is very fast. You have to figure out what you're going to write about as fast as you can and start researching as quickly as possible. By no means I do not think this class is easy. I do think that it's a lot of work. So, knowing that I have high expectations for my students in English 112, especially because I do consider you all scholars, and I take that statement very seriously. You need to know how to use a computer. If you don't know how to use a computer, you are in the wrong class. And then you do need critical thinking and creative thinking and problem solving skills, because you have to find sources, and research is critical thinking. So you need to have all of those things as well. And then of course, revert back to this section that says students who are struggling will email their instructor, because I have a lot of tools up my sleeve to help you, but I do not know that if you need help if you don't email me. You can log in or you can download this and read through the learning objectives, and I'll have you read through these periodically throughout the semester anyway. The textbook that you need is the Little Seagull. This is the same Little Seagull that you used in English 111, and if you took my English 111 and you said, no, we didn't really use this book that much, we definitely use it in English 112, I promise. There's a super cheap version on Amazon though. You can buy it for like, I think $11 if you don't still have your copy, or if you took English 111, let's say at a different college. You need access to a computer. You need some kind of computing software. Microsoft Word, I think most people use. Word Online is fine, not my favorite, but it will work. Google Drive is fine. If you are a Mac user, then you probably will want to have, what is it called? Pages. I don't accept Pages files, so you'll have to know how to convert your Pages file to either a PDF or a Microsoft Word document. Either of those are fine. Same thing with if you are going to use Google Drive. I don't accept links to Google Drive, and I don't accept .gdoc files, so you have to know how to download those as Microsoft Word or PDFs. It's super easy. YouTube has lots of tutorials out there. So if you're like, I don't know what you're saying, YouTube is your friend. I'm gonna skip some stuff. So here's what we're doing this semester. You're going to have 8 activities. Each of them is worth 20 points. Each activity is due on Wednesday. There is also a total of 8 quizzes. Each of those are 20 points, and each quiz is due on a Sunday. There's also a small, what I'm calling an open forum. It's really an online discussion. This is a place for it. This is the place for us to get as close to kind of that conversational feel of a classroom as possible. And students are required in this course to participate in it at least 6 times throughout the semester. So if you have a question, put it in the open forum. And email it to me as well. If you see someone has posted a question and you have an answer, then answer their question. If you are researching and you find something noteworthy, tell us about it. If you are researching and you're reading something really interesting, link us to it. Explain what it's about. Give us a little summary. Explain your research. Explain your progress that you're making on your research. Tell us how it's going. If you are working through your thesis statement and you need some peer review, post up your thesis statement there. If you're working on an outline or your introduction or your conclusion or even a paragraph, feel free to post that content in the open forum and ask your classmates to peer review it. And if you see that another classmate has posted a thesis statement in the open forum, then you certainly can peer review it and get credit for all of that participation. So as long as you participate in a meaningful way, you know, not just something like, oh, I like what you said. That's not really participating. Meaningful way participation 6 times throughout the semester, you'll get those 30 points there. There are 2 units in this class, there's the MLA unit and the APA unit. So first I teach you MLA while we talk about analyzing a profession as it pertains to its accuracy portrayed in film or TV. There are 2 major assignments this summer for that part of the unit. So there's an annotated bibliography, there is a final paper. I will go through all of those in future videos in lots of detail, so I'm going to glaze right through them here. There's the second APA unit. We're going to analyze social media. I imagine you've never done that before, you've never done it in an academic setting, so I'm going to teach you all about doing that. I think that that is the academics of the future, I guess. You will write an extended bibliography and you'll write a final paper. Your papers in this class, you can expect them to be something like 7 to 10 pages. Both of our units are 300 points for a total of, like, the major writing assignments you do is 60% of your grade for the class. And then we have a final exam. Now, if you before the final exam, if you have at least 900 points in the course, then you don't have to take the final exam because you will already have an A, so there's no point in studying for something that you don't need to take. And then here's just kind of like, I do a point scale. This class is out of 1,000 points, so once you hit 900 points, you know you have an A in the class. These Blackboard activities, I don't know why this is 100 points. I thought I changed this already. Anyway, the Blackboard activities, and this should be 30. Well, you guys are watching progress happen. There we go. So our Blackboard activities are really small things. Sometimes a paragraph, sometimes I ask you to do a little bit of formatting. They won't take you longer than, I'd say, max an hour. I think that that's really an overestimated number or of time. So each week you'll have one of those to do. I've talked about the online discussion. You'll have to participate at least 6 times throughout the semester. I'll try to periodically encourage you all to post in the open forum just to remind you. I think that's the part of the class you will forget about. One thing that's noteworthy is just you have to wait 24 hours after you post in order to post again. And the reason that I have this, and I do see the potential problematic scenario of where you post something and you and another student are having a semi-instantaneous conversation. However, I am making this policy about 24 hours in between posts in the open forum because I'm avoiding the student at the end of the semester who's forgotten and now has to post 6 times in a row to, kind of participate and get those 30 points, and I don't think that that's effective. So let's say it's 2 days before the semester is out, you will only be able to post twice. You'll have quizzes. I am going to make sure that these quizzes are as much as possible self-graded in Blackboard, which means you take the quiz, you submit the quiz, and you know your grade on the quiz. That means these quizzes are going to be quick, hopefully painless, always based on the content of lecture, or if I'm going through an assignment, it'll talk about that assignment. Also, true, false, multiple choice. If it's fill in the blank, it will be, I think, really short type fill in the blank, but it should be quickly graded. All right. Then you have an annotated bibliography. You have a major paper, an extended bibliography, and another major paper and a final exam. The final exam is on APA and MLA format. There are some other things that you need to know. So all of your assignments are due. This is 11:55. However, I can manipulate Blackboard better than Moodle. So really you have 4 extra minutes. It will cut off at 11:59, but after that there's no cutoff time. So major assignments, that's assignments worth more than 100 points, are always going to be due on Sundays by, I'm gonna say 11:59 on the date that you see on our schedule. Our weekly Blackboard activities, these are our small 20-point assignments, will always be due on Wednesdays. Quizzes will always be due on Sundays. And you will always turn in your assignments through Blackboard Open. unless otherwise stated. Please don't ever email me an assignment unless I request that from you. Students who email me assignments generally do so because they've missed the cutoff and they're kind of throwing a Hail Mary. Can I get this turned in? No, I'm not going to accept it. I'm just not going to open it. So if you email me an assignment and you have a question, ask your question in a different email. Submit your assignment as a doc, docx, or PDF. I don't accept any other file types. Just because if there's conversion issues, then there could be some sneaky stuff happening there. If you submit the wrong file to Blackboard, I automatically assume that if a student submits the wrong file to Blackboard, they didn't actually have the right file completed. And so that student's going to get a 0 because their assignment wasn't done on time. That is my automatic assumption. So what does that mean for you as a student? How can you make sure that there are no errors? Well, first of all, when you submit an assignment, go ahead and download that submission and just confirm it's the correct assignment. If it's not, delete it and resubmit it right away. If you're like, I thought this was correct, something wrong, something terrible is happening, send me an email. Like, I'm not evil, I just have policies. So I have given out so many 0s because of this, because students are like, well, she seems really nice. Yeah, I submitted the wrong file, or I forgot to turn that in. I'm just gonna try and email her. But I automatically assume, and it's not because I don't trust you, it's just because this is the safest bet, that the assignment wasn't finished on time. So I will give you a 0. Keep an electronic copy of everything. I used to do this really dumb thing in college, and I would write a paper, turn it in, and then use that file to write my next paper. So I'd like delete everything, but my teacher had a copy of it, so what did it matter? And then of course there's that one time when my teacher loses my assignment, or the file was corrupted or something like that, and I get a 0 because I don't have the paper and I'm not willing to do it again. So just don't do what I did. Keep an electronic copy all the time on a flash drive, somewhere safe. Use Google Drive. That's the best thing. Have a technology backup plan because, you know, technology crashes do happen. And if you email me like 5 minutes before an assignment is due, or even 2 days after the assignment was due, and you say, especially this case, 2 days after the assignment was due, hey, sorry I didn't turn that in, my internet was broken, or my computer crashed, and I'm just getting it back, blah blah blah. I'm going to automatically, safest bet, assume that you're not telling me all of the information, and you can probably imagine it's because people do this to me all the time, so don't be that guy. Missed work. Okay, so there's some assignments that you can't, well actually all of my assignments, if you don't turn them in, you cannot make them up. There's nothing, at no point in the semester can you email me and say, hey, I realized I got a 0 on this one assignment that was missing. Can I still do that? Can I make that up for reduced credit? Can I make that up for full credit? Something like that. My answer will always be no, unfortunately, you've missed the assignment. So there's nothing that you can turn in if you miss it outright. So that sounds really strict and evil, but so I have some other things that kind of help you. If you are in a situation where you're not going to be able to meet the deadline, but you need a couple of more days, then you can turn in certain assignments late. So you can never turn in activities or quizzes late. Activities are due on Wednesdays, quizzes are due on Sunday. Can't turn those in late. Those are little assignments. It's equivalent to like coming to class. I won't accept any of those late. You can certainly ask me and I will say, you know, refer to the syllabus. However, I do have major assignments like your annotated bibliography, your major papers, your extended bibliography. Those can be turned in late. Everyone automatically, without even having to ask me, has 24 hours after the due date to submit a major assignment. So let's say your annotated bibliography is due on Sunday in week 2 and you're not ready. You just need a few extra hours. You can turn it in Monday morning at 8 a.m., no problem. You can turn it in Monday evening at 8 p.m., no problem. You have 24 hours. So if it's due Sunday at 11:59 p.m., then you have until Monday at 11:59 p.m. You don't have to email me. You don't have to explain. I don't even want to know. I'm probably not even noticing that you're using that extra 24 hours. So that is totally fine. After that, I'm back to my evil self. No late work is accepted beyond that automatic 24-hour extension for all students. So we'll give it a 0. The minute that that assignment hits the date, it hits the Tuesday at midnight, done. Assignment gets a 0. Okay, so that also sounds really evil. So what about those situations when life happens and you don't just need a few extra hours, you need a few extra days? You can request up to 2 extensions over the course of the semester. Now, if you were in my English 111 class, or if you're taking 112 with me again, I had a slightly different version of this policy, and I was like giving out extensions like Oprah gives out cars or books or whatever she gives out. And that just got really overwhelming and people were abusing that policy. So unfortunately now I have a stricter policy. So you can ask for 2 extensions over the course of the semester. Now remember, these would be extensions on major assignments. Well, you can ask for an extension on any assignment, but I would only ever use them on the major assignments because they're worth the most number of points. So yeah, if you get a 0 on like an activity, then that's not so terrible, but getting a 0 on your 200-point paper means the highest grade you can get in the class is probably a C. Technically a B, but probably a C. So if you request an extension, I will give you 3 days. And that's 3 days added on to the end of that 24-hour policy. So technically you get 4 days, but it's really 3. And you can do that 2 times throughout the semester. So let's say you ask for an extension on the first major assignment, the annotated bibliography. And then you ask for an extension on quiz number 3. You're done. You've used up your 2 extensions. If you get to the end of the semester and you need another extension, you've already used them. So save them for only when you need them. Now here is my preference. Please listen closely. I don't want to know why you need an extension. I will give you an extension for any reason. I'll give you an extension because you just want one. I'll give you an extension because you are like me and you're a procrastinator. I will give you an extension for your grandmother dying or for you getting in a car crash or anything, but I don't want to know why I am giving you an extension. I just need you to request one and I can say, okay, here's one of your 2, or here's your second extension you don't have anymore. Are you sure? Don't tell me why. You only get 2, so I don't distinguish between why you need an extension. If you request your 2 extensions at the beginning of this semester and then you use them all up, you use them up. If grandma dies at the end of the semester, you don't have any more extensions. That is just my policy. So only use them if you 100% need them, and don't try to predict the future. Don't try to say nothing else will happen this semester, because it certainly will. What is that, Murphy's Law? If you want an extension, you have to email me. You have to request before that 24-hour deadline has passed. So remember, we're talking about extensions versus missed work. If you don't email me and you don't ask for an extension, and the deadline comes up for the MLA paper and you don't have it turned in and you don't have an extension, you get a 0. You can't ask for an extension after the fact because that would be like making up missed work. You've missed it. So you have to, if you need an extension, you have to request it before the deadline. The reason for this is because I'm trying to avoid the situation of someone being like, oh, it's 11:45 and I don't have my work ready. I need an extension. It will happen though, it always does. Assignments, I've already talked about that actually. When you email me, I'll respond pretty quickly. because this is an abbreviated class, it's only 8 weeks, I'm gonna have to grade really quickly. So small things like activities, 2 to 4 days, quizzes will be automatically graded. 100-point assignments, I should be able to grade within a week. 200-point assignments probably take me a week and a half or so to get those graded. Mitchell is a non-attendance taking institution. I don't really think that means anything for you because you're online students. You can read through this stuff. You should do the mandatory course enrollment activity so you're not reported as a no-show. Here's the thing. So there used to be a point in our lifetime as Mitchell instructors where we could withdraw students for like not completing work. And there's always a student in a semester who stops doing the coursework and we really want to withdraw them, but we can't do that anymore. So if at any point you no longer want to be in this course and you don't want to receive an F on your transcript, you should withdraw yourself from the class. And if you need help figuring out how to do that, just send me an email. There's no judgment. I withdrew from an astronomy class in college and it was the best decision I ever made. It was really hard and I was gonna fail. There might even be times if you're not a high school student, which I don't think many of you would be, but anyway, there might even be times where I notice your performance in class. Of course, this I'm speaking to, select few students, is really low and really poor, and I might even reach out to you and say, there's just no way you can pass this class. If that is the case, please take my advice, because so many times I have had students say, oh no, I can get 100 on everything else for the rest of this semester. And I'm telling you now, no, you cannot. You just can't. It is so rare that anyone gets 100 on anything, like paper-wise, not because I'm a hard grader, but just this class is hard. So please be realistic if you get to that point. If I tell you you should withdraw because of grades-wise, you should do it. Let's see what else. I think the rest of this stuff you guys can read on your own. Oh no, here's the one thing I definitely want to say. So plagiarism. Every single semester, someone plagiarizes something, and every single semester I begin some lecture on plagiarism just like this. Plagiarism is copying and pasting intentionally or unintentionally, but I am harder on intentional plagiarism students. Copying and pasting from the internet, from your friend's essay, from a paper you wrote in English 111 and you're trying to turn it in for credit in English 112. That's called self-plagiarism. You can't do that. I will give you a 0, and if you do what I deem as intentional plagiarism, which is, it's clear, it is black and white, there's no gray area for me. It takes a lot of digging. I will have to prove it. But if you intentionally plagiarize, I will report you to the Vice President of Student Services, and then you get to have a conversation with them and it's out of my hands. Just don't plagiarize. If you don't know what plagiarism is, if you don't know how to avoid it, then you need to read in week 1 the section I tell you to read on avoiding plagiarism, because there's no excuse for plagiarism. There's not even a shred of excuses for plagiarism. If I think your plagiarism is unintentional, I'll probably take off some points in the area in which you plagiarized, like if you're having quotation issues, and then I will resolve that matter with you. But if I know that you are intentionally, or if I think you're intentionally plagiarizing, I have no, there's a really good word that I can't think of, leniency for intentional plagiarism. If that concerns you, send me an email. I think it will be fine. There's always just someone who intentionally plagiarizes. And if you're not doing it on purpose, I will know that you're not doing it on purpose. I promise. If you have a disability and if you need anything associated with that, please talk to Student Services. They will help you. If you need tutoring, we have tutoring available for all of our students. It's free. It's peer tutoring. You can have an appointment. You can have extra stuff. It's awesome. There's also an online service that's called Upswing. I encourage you to use it. There's a schedule in Blackboard. Please complete the Syllabus Acknowledgement Agreement, which is right here. Just go in here and say, hey, yes, I read the syllabus, I watched the syllabus video, or I did one or the other, and then you will, after Monday, June 3rd, be able to select, yes, I did this, and just say, hey, I'm good to go. Okay, I think that covers everything. Please email me. Here's the thing. Most students say, she scared me. after I read the syllabus and watched the syllabus video, I'm not scary. I'm really not. But I have lots of policies that I stick to my guns on, so just know them, familiarize yourself with them, and then we shouldn't have any problems. But if you have a question, if you're like, hey, there was a gray area for me, email me right now. Like, I'm totally approachable. I will answer your question happily. I will smile at you. I will not send you a mean email back. I'm super friendly, I promise. So just get in touch with me if you have a question. Get in touch with me if you don't. Introduce yourself. Just say hi. This video is 30 minutes. Goodbye.